Senior Training Officer on the Agulhas. I am a Master Mariner with my qualification, and therefore am in a position to help guide these cadets in their ability to learn the practical parts of seamanship and navigation. From Cape Town, which we left on 24th of November, we sailed to Mauritius, which gave the cadets a chance to get familiar to the ship, with the safety equipment, get accustomed to the motion of the ship and seasickness, and try and get over it. And also, when we sailed, it had been very hot, so the guys had a chance to acclimatize to the heat, which quite a few of them took quite a bit of strain with initially, but once they realized that they needed to take rehydration tablets, that was no longer a problem. We spent 4 days in Mauritius, during which time the Indian scientists joined the ship. The cadets assisted them with getting all their gear on board and trying to get the lab set up to the requirements of the scientists. The cadets then continued with their classes. Most of the time we ran 3 groups of cadets or classes. One group was on the bridge doing navigation and watchkeeping. Another group was in the navigation class specializing in practical navigation. And the third group was under the sort of seamanship training, where they learned about ship's maintenance, ship's husbandry, and practical work with maintaining the ship, greasing, rigging stages, bosun chairs, shackles, and other rigging equipment. So during the voyage we progressed in all aspects of the navigation, safe navigation, try and train them to be good watchkeepers, so that when they leave this ship, they'll be able to go to a commercial ship and perform as expected of a normal navigation officer. We've tried to take into consideration the various levels of training. Some of the cadets have done S2 vastly, and some have got S4, and I look at what is required for the normal guy who's done S2 and is going to become deck officer, and what his requirements and duties would be on the ship, and set the training along those lines, so that if the guy leaves here, he'll have the background knowledge to be able to perform.
I'm serving as a second navigating officer on the SA Agulhas. I started my cadetship in 2011, and I was also a SAMHSA sponsored cadet. And then from there on, I've gone through the rank of third mate. I got qualified to be an officer in 2013 September, and then I became a third officer, and then after some years I got promoted to a second mate. And yes, currently I'm serving as a second mate and also studying towards my chief officer's license. My role as a second mate, it is to do passage planning. So basically I plan the passage from the departure port going to the port that we're going to be arriving into, and also to do the training of the cadets on board the vessels, as they are our future officers. So we need to teach them everything that we know from our experience, as we also went through the same program NATI. And then we just returned from Antarctic trip, which we had with the Indians on board, about 42 scientists. We got in the Antarctic region itself when we crossed it. It was on the 29th of December, and then we started heading north towards the middle of January, as we had to stop every time, and then the scientists will do their operations. That we're doing research in the Antarctic. They're doing different things. Some were collecting data about the salinity of the water that affects the climate change that we experience, and some were researching more on microbiology. So it was many different things that we've learned. And yes, and I also learned how to do some ice navigating, and coaching of Captain Kevin Tate, who was the ice pilot on board.
Obviously, we try to get these cadets to look at and see what the scientists do, so they can have an introduction to some of the scientific world that is involved in the maritime industry, so that they can have a broader aspect on possibly career choices. Should they decide more to go into the scientific field or whatever section they want to, they will have a much better background and be able to select their career path better based on that there. So we try and give the guys an all-round maritime background, but practical seamanship as well. The importance is for the guys to realize that everything is practical. You have to be able to think on your feet. There's nothing which is standard laid down and you can always follow step 1, 2, 3, 5. It doesn't work like that at sea. Obviously, once we got down to the ice and whatnot, that was a totally new and amazing experience for the cadets. For me as a person who's been down to ice several times, to watch their amazement on their faces is a great reward. Because to me that's a beautiful part of the world. I've always appreciated it. I try to get them biased towards the beauty of the Antarctic, which is fascinating. The life down there, it's a different lifestyle. Your dangers are that much more intense, and the beauty of the quietness of the ice is extreme.
It felt great because I never thought that I could one day be in the Antarctic region. And you know, it's very funny that when you get there, the seas are so calm and yet it's just ice everywhere. And obviously for the first time when we first sighted the first iceberg, it was very scary. And to know that at night you must pull watch, and also, you know, learning in the past on what happened on the Titanic. So you always get scared that, you know, I must be extra vigilant that the same thing, it doesn't happen to us. But as time goes by, you know, you start to enjoy it a lot. And then the ice, you just treat it, okay, it's normal targets, it's normal collision avoidance that you deal with each and every day you come across traffic, dense traffic in the ocean.
It's when you go to any of these isolated places like deserts or the Antarctic or Arctic areas where you have the wilderness in its natural form, that is of great importance to me as a person who's involved in the maritime industry and for years also taken care of the environment. To me it's very important that we maintain the environment where we go, and this is part of the love which I try and get across to the cadets. It's important for them where they are going to go into the commercial industry, especially to remember to look after the environment, because that is where they're going to be working and that is what's going to guarantee their future in life. So that is part of what we try to coordinate into their knowledge.
All of them, they're very eager to learn, so that is actually good when we've got cadets like that, and they're always going the extra mile into helping us even after hours, even when we finish watch, because they usually put 4 hours watch which with each navigating officer in the bridge, and then if we need them afterwards, after hours, they're always there willing to learn. And then I'm sure they learned a lot from the trip. You know, and I think, you know, them being in this vessel as the first trooper cadets is actually very good, as everyone focuses more into their training than other cadets in other ships, I will say that. And each and every day there's a schedule that is set out for them. They learn deck work, they've got simulator classes, and then they also go to the bridge and pull watches with their officers.
Obviously, once we finished the scientific stations, we came back to Mauritius. We helped the scientists store their gear and pack it up, and then we prepared the ship for coming back to South Africa. The guys, when I say guys, I refer to males and females, of course. The cadets had an opportunity to go ashore in Mauritius and enjoy the sights there. And also the shock experience of the cost of a place like Mauritius, which is not a cheap place to go and visit. It's normally a tourist attraction, and cadets aren't paid a tourist type salary. So they Fortunately, we only had a couple of days there, so they had enough time to spend their money without having to sit on board and mope about having run out of money. So once we finished with Mauritius, we sailed back for South Africa, and we're now back in Port Elizabeth.
Being on this trip has been an expedition. Has been not more than just a professional field, but a field where I actually see a future. And it's been amazing. It's been from the day we actually boarded the ship, which was last year, the 21st of November when we boarded the ship. We got to have a relationship with the training officers, which have been there for us from day one, from the day we actually boarded the ship. These training officers have been there from the senior TO to the TO. They've been there, and we not only did we gain a work relationship with them, we also gained a personal relationship.
Going down to the south, it was at first when we left. Remember, this is my first time for sailing, so at first when we left, it was scary. I won't lie. It was scary, but yeah, you get used to it because we've got like very good people on board that will tell you about their experience, which is they're trying to make you feel better. And also as time goes by, you get used to the situation and all that. I remember when I felt like I'm getting seasick for the first time. My senior TO told me that no, Siki, I'm not going to give you a seasick pill, because seasick is 90% on your mind and then 10% physically, and he never gave me the seasick pill. But I became okay because I told myself, like, no man seasick, no man, you're not going to control me. No, and I was never seasick ever again. That was the first and the last time. So yeah.
Well, to me, all I can explain is amazing. That's the only word I have to say. We've learned so much as cadets on our first trip. I don't think I would have learned as much anywhere else. This trip also, okay, it had its ups and downs. Like when we got to Mauritius, the heat was one of the challenges that we had to deal with. Other than that, being with the Indians and everybody on board was phenomenal.
Being at sea is very nice. I mean, if you love what you're doing, it becomes with a lot of responsibilities though. Because as cadets, it's not like we always in this uniform. We get dirty, very dirty. Overalls, get to do chip and painting, all the dirty work. You do basically everything. I mean, everything. There's nothing that you don't do. Especially as a female cadet, they won't say, okay, just because you're a female, you're not going to do this. This is just for men. No, there's no such. Because they tell you that once you are a qualified officer, everything is going to depend on you. I mean, you're going to have to do the job. You cannot tell someone to do the job if you can't do it yourself, So they're giving us that experience, which is amazing. I mean, we've done bridge watches, we've been like on the mooring stations when we're coming in and out of port.
We did face challenges there and there, but not really difficult challenges, but challenges, actually coming from the theoretical background of varsity to now becoming a practical sailor actually at sea. That is a bit of a challenge, but with the training officers, as I said, it's always been a step-by-step journey, wherever if you don't understand, you're always welcome to ask at any time. You can make an appointment with them. They've been very welcoming. Not only them, same thing with the officers, the rest of the crew has been amazing.
It was fun, beyond fun. Yes, it was hard work. To be honest, if it wasn't for the 2 training officers we have on board, I don't think any of this would have been possible. And obviously the people at the office. However, the officers on board, the engineers on board, the captain, the galley staff were welcoming when we came here at first. Yes, we didn't know them, of course, but we got to know them as time went by, and we all are practically one big happy family. There were a couple of people that left, some medical, yeah, but other than that, I don't sure.
the most amazing thing they've ever done for us, it is to let 2 cadets be on the watch, keeping only 2 cadets with no ABs and all that, and the officer of the watch navigating in ice in restricted visibilities. That was the amazing ever experience we've ever got. It's not something that every time you go and do your cadetship, like something you get exposed to. I mean, more especially for your first ship, you don't really get exposed to such things. They're giving us all that opportunity to prove yourself, to check if are you in for this. I mean, are you prepared? I mean, is this what you want in life? Which is very good. And I would like to thank our senior, our officers, senior and our TO. They've been very helpful. They've been telling us if you have any questions, you can go to them anytime.
In terms of the work, we've learned a lot of things with the work ethics, from working as a team, working as an individual, playing your own role, from actually managing, because in the maritime industry, taking charge and bringing command is actually a requirement, you know. So from all those little bit of things that I think we actually needed, we actually got on this trip, and that really did. But also keeping in mind that not only do we learn work ethics in the environment, we also live here, we eat here, we sleep here, we body here, we do everything here. So everything is actually done here. So it actually goes far beyond just work ethics, you know. It goes far on a broader spectrum, you know. And you know, we having to do bridge watches, having to work on a simulator, having to do seamanship, working on seamanship, having to have your hours of sleeping shoveled around. Sometimes you have to wake up at 12 o'clock and go pull a watch, which is something you're not used to. But eventually it just all falls in place, you know. Because I think what actually helped me a lot was that the moment I actually boarded the ship, I actually told myself, no, I need to try and at least switch my mind to seagoing mode. Because every time you think about it, and you have those moments sometimes where you miss home, of course. And it was so fortunate, maybe just a bit unfortunate, that we left right before the festive season. You know, we left. You normally in the festive season, the family gets together, and I got a call saying you need to go down to the ice. You know, and obviously no one can actually let that opportunity go just like that, because you know it's a lifetime opportunity, which has been a highlight. You know, this actually in my whole maritime career, I do not think that I would actually get another such an amazing trip expedition.
This is it for me. I've already decided this is what I want in life, you know, because of SA Agulhas. I'm very thankful also to SAMHSA for like letting us to come on board, and all the people who made it happen. I mean, who made sure that there's cadets on this voyage and all that. And I'm sure that we've made ourselves and them proud, to such that they would want to take more cadets in the future. Yeah, we've tried our best. I mean, we've worked very hard because it was worth it after all. Thank you.
I would also like to thank SAMHSA, I'd like to thank SAMHSA, I'd like to thank Saimi and the organization at large that was responsible and that also made this journey a success. And the show, and also thank the officers, the senior trader, the training officers, from the senior CO to the TO, the rest of the cadets. And I do not think I would have chose to be with a better group, you know. And I very thankful.
Practically, what I'm starting to become is a captain in the near future. So I've got 3 ranks to go after my cadetship. God willing, I would like to land up on cruise liners or even super yachts. Container ships, dry bulks, gas carriers. I can deal with it for now, but cruise ships are where my heart lies. Thank you so much.
I do consider this as one of the great privileges in my life, to be able to try and impart a love of the sea and the marine career to cadets. I feel extremely privileged to have been in that kind of position. Thank you.
2 questions. The combination of research, which is what the India scientists were doing, which is independent of the training itself, and the cadet training, especially brand new cadets. What challenge does that pose, if any, or what advantages does it offer you?
Well, provides two opportunities for us. One is for cadets to get training. The second is for them to be aware of the environment. But something which was also brought home is the fact that because of the scientific voyage, which was the main charter, it was the only chance they had of being able to actually do the voyage, because it's the Indian government and scientists were paying for the ship. So we as hangers-on were extremely privileged to be able to make use of that opportunity. And I tried to persuade the cadets to be involved in assisting the scientists, to encourage them that when they do the next charter, that they will still allow scientists cadets to come with them on the cruise, because they can be useful to the scientists as well as to the ship and to the education. So we can try and combine the whole exercise into one good training session, because they learn that nothing is for free, and whatever they get they need to appreciate and be able to use it to the best of their advantages. And part of what we try and get instilled in them is that from the time you start as a cadet, from the time you put on board the ship, you start going through the evaluation process. Every person on board the ship has a look to see at how the cadets are performing. And at the end of the day, each cadet will make their own reputation. And that reputation is what is going to either guarantee them a job or guarantee them a change of career.
Final question, which is the second last question, or rather the last question of the two that I had. They have done the voyage. Is this the one and only part of their training in terms of the phase, or are you still going to be with them for the next 30 days perhaps?
No, basically I'm just here with them while they're on board the ship. Okay. They are only allowed to do a maximum of 120 days on board the training vessel. After that they must go to a different vessel for further training. And there are some of the vessels that do have training officers, but I'm not part of that normal thing. I normally have been specializing in doing the training on board the SA Agulhas.
Also, thank you very much. I truly appreciate it.
It's a pleasure.
All right.